More Affleck, more Snyderverse, more solo Affleck films. Why do I even need Viagra? What's going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? It's your boy, the Truth Only One. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness on that face naked chest. So, we got some more rumors about Affleck, Snyderverse, the DCEU as a whole, the whole shebang and bang. So, let's get into it without protection. Hashtag don't use protection. I'm just kidding, kids. Trust me, it feels way better.
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus. Cover your ears, baby.
So, this comes from David Atusign. Affleck on the return with his Batman movie. Zaslav chose to move forward with Zack Snyder. Great idea. He wanted to deepen Snyder's universe. Okay, my butthole just puckered up. I like that. Or do a reboot. No, for the love of everything that is holy. He would have chosen to go ahead with the original Flash movie plans as Snyder had planned Flash movie. Now, of course, you know, the whole stupid idea of the Flash moving the Snyderverse timeline into a different reality where we continue the course of Justice League. Please don't do that.
That's some bullshit.
And, okay, this is the second rumor. The first and second acts of the movie are good for Zaslav, but the last act doesn't fit and he needs changes to coincide with Snyder's vision. And again, this is all speculation. This is all rumors. But since we're here, since we're playing the speculation game, let's speculate. Here's what I think David Zaslav wants to do with the DCEU as a whole, right? So the whole 10-year plan, I like that. Great. That's a great, solid foundation on what you want to build for your DCEU. He wants to have a heavy focus on the Trinity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Fantastic. Now, I do think Gal Gadot, who's the least, I guess you could say Gal Gadot needs Wonder Woman because, you know, outside of Wonder Woman, her films really haven't hit. And she's not the best actress in the world. But for Wonder Woman, I think she fits that stoic, you know, that stoic warrior aesthetic to Wonder Woman. So I think she's great there. Henry Cavill as Superman, I do believe Henry Cavill will show up in Black Adam. I do think he's going to do the cameo, and I do think that David Zaslav and the Warner Brothers, you know, team really like Henry Cavill. Again, this is just pure speculation. But again, it wouldn't make any sense for Warner Brothers to remove Henry Cavill. Like, why? Like, people like him, whether you like Man of Steel or not. The common, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Holy shit. The common feeling or the common ground is Henry Cavill is an awesome Superman. So let's keep him. And I do think Henry Cavill will eventually do a solo film, which is great. Ben Affleck, we all know Ben Affleck. He's the GOAT. Affleck all day, every day. I would rub oil on that man's chest. Don't get too excited, Eddie Diaz, you fucking weirdo. But he is Affleck. He's the golden one. He's the chosen one. He is the Affleck that we've wanted our entire lives. He's awesome. So Ben Affleck's Batman. He doesn't need Batman, but he loves the character and he loves to continue playing Batman. Now, I do think, obviously, we know Ben Affleck is going to be in Aquaman, which is great. He's going to be in Flash. Now, here's the thing that's really, I don't know, that's really struggling with me. And I talked about this in a previous stream. When I say we're going to get the Snyderverse, I think we are, but we're not going to get the Snyderverse that we all think it's going to be. Here's what I think David Zaslav is going to do. I think David Zaslav wants to copy the Marvel structure of films, where we get solo film, solo film, solo film, solo film, build up the characters, build up each character in their own solo film, let the general audience and the fans get acclimated with these characters, let them fall in love with the characters and story, and then you know, they're going to do the eventual Justice League film. I think that's what David Zaslav has in mind. And I think that's why David Zaslav brought in Alan Horn because obviously Alan Horn has experiences with big IPs. He worked with Warner Brothers. He worked with, Disney and the whole Marvel situation over there. So he knows what he's doing over there. So I think that's what David Zaslav really wants to focus on. Focus on each individual characters that sets up, the big Just League films. Great. I'm on board. Great idea. Now, when I say Snyderverse, I don't think David Zaslav has any intention in doing Zack Snyder's story. In particular, the whole nightmare sequences, I don't think David Zaslav has any intention in doing that or delving deep into that. I don't think, David Zaslav has any intention of doing the whole evil Superman, which is he's not evil, he's under mind control, but again, whatever. I don't think he has any intention in doing that. I think David Zaslav wants Henry Cavill. I think David Zaslav wants a Superman movie, but a Superman movie that doesn't really have anything to do with what Zack Snyder did with Man of Steel, BVS, or Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm not saying David Zaslav is going to erase the Snyderverse. I think he wants to acknowledge it, but just tell new stories and just move forward from there. Again, I know some Snyder fans are not going to like that. They're going to hate that. But at the same time, listen, we can't get everything that we want, right? So if we keep the same cast, but just tell new stories and build up to an eventual Justice League film with Ben Affleck, with Ray Fisher, with Ezra Miller, with Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill, I'll take it. I will take that. And Jason Momoa, obviously. I'll take it. He's like, you know what? Okay, fine. We won't get the Snyderverse, but at least we'll get the same cast and we'll get new stories and hopefully movies that really are well done. Because at the end of the day, we're all DC fans, and we all want these characters to have great stories and great movies. Like, that's the end goal. So I like that mindset. As far as, like I said, the whole nightmare situation and the whole evil Superman and the black suit, I really don't think we're going to get that, unfortunately. It would be cool if we did it, and it would be cool if we got Zack Snyder's story. But remember, Zack Snyder's story has a shelf life. It was only 5 movies. 5 movies. Let me put the camera right there. There we go. 5 movies, baby. It was only 5 films, and then after that, it was done. It was over. And you're not gonna build a brand new DC cinematic universe without Batman, because we all know Affleck, spoiler alert, was gonna get killed off. And you can't have a Justice League film. You can't have a DCEU without Batman. And don't get me started. Well, bring in Robert Pattinson. Like, boy, you must be on coke. Hell no, I don't want Nightcrawler Man anywhere near the DC cinematic universe. Let Nightcrawler Man stay with Herpicon Joker over there in a DC Black Label, and we'll be good to go.
Excuse me, have to visit men's room.
So, I think that's what David Zaslav is going to do. He's like, we're going to get the Snyderverse light. You know what I mean? It's like Bud Light, Snyderverse light, where we're not going to continue on building on Zack Snyder's storyline and universe, but we're going to take his cast and we're going to tell you his story. Because at the end of the day, we're never going to get rid of the Snyderverse as long as we have Jason and Ben and Ezra and Gal Gadot, because that's who Zack Snyder cast in the first place. So you're never going to get rid of the Snyderverse entirely. But I do think we're not going to follow up on the eventual Justice League build-up with Justice League Part 3 and stuff like that, and the whole Nightmare scenes and the whole Nightmare timeline. I don't think we're going to get that. Because, as much as I love, Zack Snyder and want to see his story continue, again, Zack Snyder has Rebel Moon on Netflix. He's doing the Twilight of the Gods, and I know he's producing all this stuff, but still, he's still heavily involved with Netflix. And then he's going to do Planet of the Dead. So I don't see how, at least right now, Zack Snyder is going to, have the time to do, a Justice League Part 2 and a Justice League Part 3. Because remember, doing a Justice League Part 2 and Part 3 is a massive, massive production. Like, that's going to take years to do a Justice League Part 2 and a Part 3. And especially in the epic scope that we all know that Zack Snyder loves to do, it's going to be time consuming. And I don't see how Zack Snyder can fit that in his, busy schedule. But again, if this is the alternative where we get Snyder's cast, but we just get new stories with Henry, Gal Gadot, and Jason, and et cetera, I'll take it. For me, that's a win. That's a win, because at the end of the day, I'm a DC fan, and I want to see Affleck return, which I think he will, hopefully, and everybody else return. And I'll take that. I'll accept that. I think that would be great. But again, we have to be we have to be realistic, right? Like, we have to like think, like really, really sit down and think about it. I know we want Zack Snyder to come back, and I know we want Snyderverse. I want that too, trust me. But we have to be realistic, right? Realistically speaking, how can this work, right? Like, how can we have the best of both worlds, which I think David Zaslav wants to do, right? Like, he doesn't want to erase the Snyderverse, but at the same time, he doesn't want to continue that. Because at the end of the day, David Zaslav has his own vision for DC, and he has his own vision for the DC world that obviously has, Zack Snyder's imprints. But at the end of the day, I think he wants to tell his vision, his story, and what his DC brand is going to look like for the next 10 plus years, right? Because as much as I love Ben Affleck, I don't see Ben Affleck being Batman for the next 15, 20 years, right? Like, I don't see that happening. I do see Ben Affleck doing maybe well, I was gonna say a series, but now that HBO Max is like, they're not, everything's gonna be theatrical. I don't see that happening anymore. So I do think it's gonna be a film, and I think it'll be great if we get a nice send off with Ben Affleck's Batman, with Batman be Deathstroke finally, and get something like that, and then maybe just recast. Like that would be a nice way for Ben Affleck to say goodbye to the role of doing one last Batfleck movie, and then just recast Batman, and then we just go on from there. Because at the end of the day, I think that would be okay. Because if they recasted Ben Affleck as Batman, but we were continuing the Snyderverse storyline, I think I wouldn't like that. Because Ben Affleck is vital to the Snyderverse storyline. But since it seems like we're not going to continue the Snyderverse storyline, I would be more okay if Ben Affleck was just recast after that, and then we just continue on with the Trinity. Because at the end of the day, the Trinity is vital. So I think that's what David Zaslav has in mind, and that's why I say Snyderverse light, like Snyderverse, but not really. Like, we're gonna get Snyderverse, but not in the way that you are gonna expect. But at the end of the day, I think if this is what David Zaslav has in mind, I'm all for it. As long as we get the same cast and they, get their films, I'll be happy. So that's what I think David Zaslav is going to do. So post your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Hit like, subscribe, all that good shit. Tell me if you agree, disagree. Be like, truth, you're full of shit. All right, Zack Snyder's going to come back. He's going to do his Nightmare series or a Nightmare movie. We're going to do Justice League Part 2 and Part 3. And you know what the fuck you're talking about, okay? Because I listen to the Scoopers. The Scoopers are more correct than you. Or do you think truth? I hear you. That makes sense. Because, again, take off, the hope glasses and just sit back, sit down, and realistically think on how this could work. And I think this is how David Zaslav is going to try to make this work. And for me, I think it makes sense. I think this is how you try to please both sides of the fandom. Again, not everyone's gonna like it, but as long as we see Henry Cavill back, and as long as we see another Justice League film with the same cast done right, and not Justice League, but with more of the mythic pathos that Zack Snyder did, I think that would be a win-win. So anyway, love you guys. Stay safe. Mwah. Truth out.
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus. Cover your ears, baby.